And you can click the link there. You go explore a little bit more. If you're new to astrology, if you're new to, you know, all of this, I recommend that you go to Onyx Phoenix Rising. It's a channel that is on YouTube that has a lot of videos that gives like a little short snapshots of, you know, what it's all about, especially about the planets in the houses and the signs. But this is like a little bit more detail, but those give you kind of like a good overview, and I thought it's very real. Onyx Venus Rising YouTube channel. So I have also, that is the actually the address there, YouTube, above there, above that one. So, but when you look at the left, you see this is I would say would be like the mantras. I achieve, I explore, I sell, I circulate, I partner, I serve, and I nurture, I think, I have. And so we're going to go through each one of these along with the representing signs and the planets that are in the houses. Okay, and so like I said, in this case, we're going to be dealing with the 12 houses, the 12 planets, and the 12, and what we would call the 12 stars, right? So yes, so when we're beginning from the left, you see where it says I am, awareness of self, and then you look at so y'all, want you to kind of like go, and we're gonna go like, we're gonna keep going back and forth from each chart, because the first house is the sign of Aries, right? Aries, the mantra for Aries would be I am, because it's the awareness of self. I am, which is the ruling planet is Mars. Okay, and just by that one mantra, I am, it indicates, you know, appearance, outward personality, and so forth. So that's somewhat kind of the energy of that of the planets in the house and the sign Aries. So just keep moving to and move around. So the second house is Taurus, and the mantra for Taurus is I have personal resources, money, possessions, values, skills. And the planet, the ruling planet, is Venus, because Venus is all about, well, just what we said, the planet of love, beauty, energy, self-worth, intimacy, right? So let's move to the third house, which is Mercury, the home of Mercury, and Gemini is the sign Gemini. Gemini, the mantra will be used, it will be I think. Why would we use that mantra? Because the mantra I think, because it involved mental activity, learning. It also associated with siblings, communication. Mercury is linked to the senses, where you receive information. The planet fuels networking and unemotional meeting of the mind. The energy is communication, right? The spirits is the process is of networking, socializing. This is the energy of Gemini, and Mercury is the ruling planet there. The fourth house is Cancer. Now Cancer, the moon is in the house right here. And the energy of Cancer is home, parents, roots, inner security. The mantra we'll use here is I nurture the inner world, because see, the moon is like, it's that mother energy. It's a symbol of the spirit, home, security. It's the subconscious, knowing, intuition. It's a feminine energy. Okay. And also, moving to the fifth house, we have Leo. And so this is the sun, the home. The sun is in the house here. This fifth house is Leo. It's a sign, right? And then the mantra there would be I serve, because see, it involves romance, children, fun, creativity, right? That's the energy of Leo, right? Because see, the sun is symbolic of the father. It's a masculine energy. It is you see, it's your birthright, right? Of all living things to self-express. And if you notice, anybody that is a Leo, this is the kind of energy that they embody. And so moving forward, house 6 is the sign Virgo. And Mercury is also in the house once more now and again. Mercury, you'll notice some of these houses have more than one planet that represents, or more than one planet will be in that house, okay? That represents for that sign. And so Mercury is also in the house with Virgo. And Virgo's mantra we can use here is also, again, I serve, because that's the planet. That's the planet's energy, Mercury. I serve. So that's what that mantra is, using it once more again, right? And so house 7 is Libra. It's a sign. The planet is Venus. Again, you see, Venus was, the energy of Taurus. But then in Libra, the mantra is I partner. Awareness of others, marriage and other partnerships. Venus, once again, the planet of love and beauty, energy, self-worth, intimacy. Now, moving on to the 8th house, we have Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign, and Scorpio is another one of those signs that have 2 planets that are embodied there. 2 planets, Pluto and Mars. So when you think about Pluto, you think about death and rebirth. Death and rebirth. We think about, Pluto reveals the toxicity in the system. We talked about this in the previous video. We went over all this, but I'm just going to recap because we have it all here. Reveals toxicity in the system. You learn, you lean on, reveals toxicity in the system. You lean on its complacency and the things you draw on for identity. This is the realm. This is the realm of death and rebirth, like we said before. This is your ticket to the evolution of your soul, which will trigger the survival instincts, your loving but not so friendly guide through your personal underworld, right? And the energy is karma, buried secrets, survival, the taboo, experience transformation, and soul evolution. Also, Mars, which is also Aries energy, we already went over that once more now and again. Mars carries the energy of, it's linked to war, determination, battle, and how you soldier through life towards your goals. Personal survival. Mars is embodied by Aries, the lover of Venus. You see, the mantra for Scorpio in this house with Pluto and Mars is I circulate, shared resources, sex, death, letting go, regeneration, other people's money sharing. Okay, money and sharing. So, and then Sagittarius, Jupiter is in the house. I explore will be the mantra. Expanded horizons. And we're going to talk about Jupiter a little bit more because we have a very important conjunction coming up with Jupiter and Neptune coming up in April, very, very soon. So we're going to talk about that in the next slides. So Sagittarius energy. The Sagittarius energy is all about higher education. This is the 9th house. The 9th house. It's all about higher education, philosophy, publishing, religion, travel, and law. A lot of people who are Sagittarius, you may find that they are very charismatic, religious in a lot of ways. Or they just attracted to that type of energy. And so, and this is the 9th house. Once more again, I explore. It's Sagittarius. And so Capricorn is the 10th house. And Saturn is in the house. And the mantra you can use for that, for Capricorn, is I achieve. Right? Because anyone that's a Capricorn, their energy is, geared towards career, status, reputation, vocational purpose, taking power. Capricorn is going to take their power, okay? And that's the 10th house. And just a little bit elaboration here on Saturn. You see, Saturn is energy is like the training wheels, right? It's in place not to torture, but to teach. Here you have restrictions, traditions, and authority figures. Okay, you always, anybody that's a Capricorn, they're gonna be kind of like methodical. They're gonna be, it's like Chronos, because Saturn is Chronos. Chronos has to do with, chronology, like the timing, or they're very methodical, right? They take the opportunity. They're very disciplined. A lot of times you'll find these individuals that their energies, they're very disciplined. Also, they'll find they're going to be needing healing as well, because they're very their courage. They're going to have to need to call in their courage to commitment to healing, to start by the light within you. Start by shining the light within you. Okay. And that's the 10th house. The 11th house is Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is another sign, which we already talked about how we're in the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius has 2 planets that are in the house. Uranus is, is a radical, forward-thinking energy. It's prompting a revolution and restructuring breakthrough, linked to inner truth, equality, and freedom. And so, but you have Saturn there. And we just talked about, Saturn energy is that Capricorn energy. We just talked about that involves self-discipline and a commitment to healing. Right? So you have those two energies there. And so that's the 11th house. Finally, last but not least, we have the 12th house. And so ironically, Pisces has 2 planets in the house. And these 2 planets are going to also be in conjunction. As I said before, on April the 12th. We'll get into it in the following videos. But see, this is the 12th house. And see, this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at in Pisces. We're about to go into the sign of, was it Aries, I think? Yeah, because as we're moving around here. But yeah, so the 12th house is Pisces. The energy or the mantra we can use here is, looking at the chart to the left, is I dream. You see, it's about spiritual life. You see, we were talking about also, because you see, when you have, see the planet Jupiter, we just talked about in Sagittarius. These people are usually spiritual. Why? Because they have a deep, connection with spirit. Because in their mantra is I dream, solitude, institutions, transcendence. And because everyone has a reverse side or a opposition to their side, which here it says what it says, self-sabotage. Because you want to dream, but you want to make sure that you're not, you're not in an illusion, right? So in Pisces, we have Neptune. Pisces is Neptune is in their house, and Jupiter. So let's talk about Neptune. Neptune is the doorway to higher dimensions. The veil is lifted between man and spirit. Okay, and it reveals your yearning to merge with something greater than yourself, and where you surrender into oneness. It says here, it's an energy that most of the time, like empathy, surrender, art, music, inspiration, illusion. You know, like I said, it can also be like smoking beers, because you can have illusion. Because you want to dream, but you want to make sure you're not stepping way too much away from a reality, because that's why it says here, that energy is there of self sabotage. Um, So the energy of Neptune also is, like we just said, it says up there, oneness, transcendence, dreams, escapism, illness, spiritual lessons, deeper connections with the divine. Honor your dreams. Let images and meaning percolate. So I feel like I've been doing a little percolating lately, just. But you got to be careful that you don't fall too deep into a dream. It's come an illusion, right? So, but that's where we are. But this is the energy that we're experiencing even now. So, with this conjunction that's coming up, it's so ironic how the 12th house, Pisces, is where we're at. And there's going to be this conjunction coming up in April between Neptune and Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about big, big everything, right? So guess what? We need to be thinking big dreams, right? Coming up, take the opportunity. This is also the age of Aquarius, moving into the golden age. You see, as I was saying before, it's all about what you say, what I say, what we say about ourselves, not what the world says, not what is going on in the world. We gotta, that's what I've been taking out some time to kind of meditate and really put my focus in on what I want to attract, right? Because the law of attraction is very real. Let's move to the next. So one of the things that we didn't talk about on the previous video in the heavenly bodies part 1, high frequency vibrations, was retrogrades. Retrogrades. We talked about opposition, we talked about trine, we talked about the square, we talked about sextiles and the conjunction. So we're gonna be talking about the conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter. I'm not gonna go in depth, but I want you to be aware, because sometimes when these planets are aligned, it's all about the energy, guys. And so on April 29th, October 28th, Pluto will be in retrograde, it says here. And so that's something also to be aware of. See, retrogrades are common cosmic events, but they're also the most dreaded. We just went through what Mercury was in retrograde. I mean, I don't know about you, but I felt it. I don't know about you. I guess if you don't believe it, you didn't realize but it doesn't stop, situations in the world from taking place, like communication problems, networking. If you go back on that day when Mercury was in retrograde, you might there was even some cyber attacks I think was going on. It was all affecting communication, affecting networking. And so in this case, Pluto, so a little bit more, just get a little bit more understanding about this retrograde here. You see, the planetary retrograde periods are known for causing confusion, revisions, and sometimes unwelcome blasts from the past. But retrogrades don't have to be bad or scary, especially if you know how to work with them and align with their flow. Understanding what retrogrades mean in astrology, how they impact our lives, can change the way we experience these inevitable backspins. If the signs of the zodiac show how planets express themselves, hello, if the signs of the zodiac show how planets express themselves, the houses of the natal chart reveal where these energies play out. Each of the 12 houses of a chart rules certain areas of life, types of people and relationships, environments, ideas, and life circumstances. Your experience of a particular planet or body in your natal chart is modified not only by its sign placement and its aspects, but also by the house placement. House placement. So check some of these links out. I recently attended a webinar about, learning more about what this conjunction that's going to be taking place. So check out Ablas Rolling. That's a YouTube channel. Okay. If you want to, kind of get in a little bit more depth, understanding about all of this we're talking about here. Because I don't claim to be an expert. Like I said, I knew a lot about astrology. Like I said, I've been always like a spiritual person for a long time. And, but now I'm just beginning to learn about or hewn some of the get into just being a little bit more, methodical about my life and how I want to live my life and what I want to attract into my life. Okay. And be the best, be my best self. And I would hope that you would want to do that as well. So just talk a little bit about this great conjunction. So we had the great conjunct. Jupiter was conjunct with Saturn. And we talked about that in some previous videos. And that was a great conjunction. Why? Because that conjunction hadn't taken place in 400 years. This one hasn't taken place in 166 years ago. It hasn't been seen since 1858. And see, I just put here on the side, so it's just some visuals that you can see, some of the energy that sort of goes along with, these planets, the planets. So the conjunction takes place on the 12th, I believe. I need to change the date. It takes place on the 12th, 4/12/22. It says, along with revolutions in beauty, art, and fashion, Neptune and Jupiter coming together can inspire new forms of media and movements in film, photography, and music. It is a highly creative energy that thins the veil, allowing us to see or realize things we couldn't see before. So check out the link there. This is from foreverconscious.com. If you want to learn more about that. So as you can see, this is, so on the top there's a symbol that represents the planet. And even as you look at these symbols here, you know, there's a certain energy that goes along with that we already talked about, but I want to go just touch again, because when you think about the conjunction, what does a conjunction mean? Let's go. A conjunction, see, the conjunction is when two planets sit 0 degrees away from one another, and they are deemed conjunct. You see, the merging of two planets are an experience. You know, it's like they have become one, right? Like a marriage or something. And so the merging of these planets, you know, it shows unity. So here we go. Now we have another shift. We have another a show. It shows unity, a show of unity. Perhaps this is meant to be forgiveness. Perhaps this is meant to be aligned with your highest purpose, or for you to do what? To what? Because if Jupiter is all about everything big, right? And Neptune is all about dreams, right? Dream. That means, guess what? This is a good time to dream big, right? Neptune, right? Once more, now and again, is the doorway to higher dimensions. The veil is lifted between man and spirit, reveals you yearning to merge with something greater than yourself, and where you surrender into oneness. The energy is empathy, surrender, art, music, inspiration, illusion, smoke and mirrors. Okay, because you know you always have, you know, a reversal there, aspect of any union, right? But the experience is oneness, transcendence, dreams, escapism, illness, spiritual lessons, deep connection with the divine. Honor your dreams. Let images and meaning percolate. So there we go. Just a little touch on what the expect, perhaps what this energy will be all about. But when you look at the symbol of Neptune, you see, you got to look a little deeper. Look at the symbol. See, a lot of things, a lot of communication back in antiquity was all about symbols. There was no language, okay, to, you know, you had symbols and things to express what it is. So look at me, looking at this energy, we have the sign Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, okay? Pisces is a water sign. And that symbol you see up there, you see that symbol is a Triton, okay? I just need to look at I want to find just a little bit more about Pisces, right? The sign Pisces, which, you know, yeah, I talked about. So go back and watch the other video. There was a lot. We talked about the signs and so forth, and the energy along with that. Basically, we did already talk about it, but just know that the symbology here. And also, when you're looking at Jupiter, you have the sign Sagittarius is the sign. There's a symbol below. All right. So be on the lookout. The conjunction is going to be on April the 12th, 2022. And I have that at the top, but I will change that. Let's move on. Okay, so what happens with an eclipse? So we talked about, see, before in the previous video, we talked about the conjunction, not the conjunction, but opposition. See, opposition is this. It's the same as an eclipse. So you got to know what this energy is about. When you have an eclipse, see, an eclipse is the same as an opposition. We just talked about that. It's when the two planets sit 180 degrees from one another. They are in opposition. And what is opposition? Opposition is a point of tension. This reveals an imbalance where one energy eclipses the other. So an eclipse is the same as two planets in opposition. And so it's like a thorn in your side, perhaps a block, a power struggle, can create confusion or conflict in the energetic realms. Do not harden in the face of opposition, because you might block yourself. Look for compassion, which can be a driving force. You see, when you are aware of these occurrences, when you are aware of how a planet might be aligned, you can then resort to a higher way of thinking. You can adjust yourself. You see, sometimes during the orbit, the moon and the earth form a line with the sun. When this happens, an eclipse occurs. There are two kinds of eclipses, a lunar and a solar. The lunar eclipse happens when the earth moves between the sun and the moon, blocking parts of the sun's light from reaching the moon. During a lunar eclipse, you will see the earth's shadow on the moon. In a solar eclipse, the moon moves between the earth and the sun. When this happens, part of the sun's light is blocked. The sky slowly gets dark as the moon moves in front of the sun. When the moon and the sun are in perfect line, it is called a total eclipse. And these are very rare. Most people only see one in their lifetime. Need I remind you, there's supposed to be an eclipse coming up in 2024. And what is the energy in regards to what an eclipse we just read about something being blocked? The energy is a blockage, a power struggle, which can create confusion, conflict in the energetic realms. Keep that in mind. Celestial. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. When people get all caught up into, you know, the names of this, that, and different words and all that. But I could just say celestial. Celestial, what that means, belonging or related to heaven. So anything that is up in the heavens, up out in the, about, way up in the sky, right? It is of and relating to or suggesting heaven or divinity, celestial beings. Okay? And it's also of or related to the sky or visible heavens. The sun, moon, and stars are celestial. Okay? So, yeah, all that could be lumped right under one term, and we'll just do away with all that. But check out some of these symbols. Like I said, do your own research, because like I said, when I'm looking at the sun, I think a lot of things have been moved around when it comes down to what some of these symbols really stand for. And the energy that they really represent, okay? But we're going to go with whatever we have here. But when you do your research, you may find some things might seem a little bit out of place. And you got to know, some things have changed around. Just like Pluto has been come back and being looked at in our solar system, whereas once it seems to be retired somewhere. Even Saturn, Uranus was like, I don't know, wasn't there at one point. And now we have, along with Saturn, we have Uranus there in the sign of, I think it's Sagittarius. No, Aquarius. All right. So keep that in mind. So this is astrology as seen in the heavens. In the heavens. Like, you know, the title of this video is going to be The Heavenly Bodies Part 4. High frequency vibrations. You see, because you can't deny that the sun, can you deny that the sun is up in the sky, up in the heavens? Well, there's more than just the sun up there. There's a moon up there, and there are other planets, and also, you know, stars up there. Okay, so in each one of these, and it's all talking about, this is all showing the ones that we're talking about. And I think what it is, what is a good thing to look at this as, when you think about astrology, you got to think about how you navigate through this world, through this earth, how you navigate, right? And sometimes just by having all of these uh, reference points and different things like that, it can help you to navigate through life, you know, plan your kind of like for example, like a meteorologist. What does a meteorologist do? They're looking at, you know, things that are going on in the atmosphere, right? To see, you know, what the weather is like, right? The same thing someone would consult with an astrologist to do, to say a similar type of thing. You know, what is the energy is going to be like with the planets, how they're aligning. Like we were talking about, there's going to be a conjunction, which is going to be a significant conjunction. It's going to be coming up on April the 4th, no, April the 12th. Between Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, and when you begin to look at what the symbol of Neptune is all about, you know, that Triton, and you begin to look at what Jupiter is all about, as we were reading and so forth, then you kind of put it together, and then what kind of alignment is it? The alignment is all about a conjunction. A conjunction has to do with the union, okay, of the planets. I mean, the planets align in a union is what it is. They deem, you know, it's the spirits. The merging of the two planets are the spirits as one. So it's an opportunity. It could present as an opportunity. It's going to have some kind of energy that's going to be associated with it. So if you think that's something that is not to be applied, and you could just, you know, I'm sure a lot of us people have been on earth that just kind of live their life all willy-nilly, you know what I'm saying? But when you start studying, you get to have a higher consciousness and elevate your consciousness. You begin to use whatever the tools, the God-given tools. This is something old as time. This has been, people been using this for thousands of years, and a lot of it has been very accurate in regard to the energy, whatever these planets, the energy and what it's doing in the sky and so forth. So I thought I'd just, you know, put that in there. So this is the sun. Now the sun is representative of the Father. And this is going to be the first of 3 other examples that I'm going to make, that I'm going to compare with the tarot cards. For example, here for in the tarot, the sun, or the it's the energy of Leo, which is Leo, you know, it's actually the fire sign, basically. It's one of the fire signs. So I'm going to be doing the 3 fire signs that is in the tarot, which is represented by the King and Queen of Wands. So if you're born under this sign, Leo the lion, okay, which is in the stars, right? Then you in the tarot, you will be considered as King and Queen of Wands. For example, like I said, it is a masculine energy. On the right here, we have the some symbols that also representative of the sun, and also there's symbols up on the top left is representative of the sun. Now the sun energy is a symbol of life. and it's basically the birthright of all living things, which is to self-express. So that's what the sun represents. It's your birthright of all living things to self-express. And this is represented by Leo the Lion, as well as in the tarot is representative of Queen and the King of Wands. The next one here is the Moon, which is the mother energy. It's symbolic of, home security and so forth. And we kind of went through everything about that. And also we have moon phases. You see, the moon phase is important because, see, when you think about, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't think about you see, back, we still have the almanac. Like I have an almanac, a 2022 almanac that was given to me as a gift because, when you think about the moon phases and when you look in the almanacs, it tells you when to plant, the best time to plant. And perhaps many of you probably didn't even know that you can, just as you're planting seeds in the ground and all that, this has a correlation, and it kind of helps you to know when it's the best time. Even so, there is something called the rhythm method, which you can gauge when you conceive. If you're looking to have a child, you can gauge when you want to conceive, because there's a certain period in the month that you can avoid even conceiving by knowing what time of the month you should be, not perhaps may not want to be sexually active. And see, all of this is a cycle. And so all these things that we think that it's just a joke, it just has nothing to do with anything. No, it has a lot to do with everything. And so eclipse, like I said, it's just a picture of what an eclipse will look like, right? Which is the same as an opposition. Okay, so this is the planet Mercury, which is represented by the sign of Gemini. And up on the left, that is the symbol of Gemini. And in the middle, that's another symbol of Gemini, because Gemini represents like the twins. And that sign's kind of, you see those two bars, okay, or the two pillars there, and then you have the twins. It represents the, this twin energy, what have you. But Mercury is linked to the senses, where you receive information. And this planet, it fuels networking and unemotional meeting of the mind. Unemotional meeting of the mind. The energy is also communication and channeling. Okay, and on the right you see that's a symbol of Mercury. The circle with the cross and all those two horns up there. Yeah, that's the symbol of Mercury. And basically the experience would be like, how you process information, networking, socializing, light and unemotional connections. You see things as they truly are. A person that's a Gemini, they think methodically. Okay, so before I get started talking about the planet Venus, because my main focus here really is the planet Venus. All right, this is very important. Okay, but first I want to talk about the fact that the world really don't want you to know that you are kings and queens, okay? And this, would you look at the major arcana here? I have two cards that are major arcana out of the tarot deck, okay? Representing your life is a journey. These two cards are representing two major arcana. When you look on the left, we have Taurus. But before I get into that, I want to say, remember the wheel we were just talking about, what we're showing? Not only that, even like the natal chart that you see with the circle, with the sun in the middle. Okay, so this is not a wheel that you're on. Okay, this is the earth. This is the planet that you're on. Listen, the planets go around the sun and the moon. No, and the moon. They travel around the sun, okay, on a consistent basis. Reason why how sometimes you see eclipse, when you look in the moon, so you cannot deny that, okay? Please don't deny that the sun is in the sky, because it is, and these planets are there as well, and they could be seen with the telescope. So this is a true thing. This is not some wheel that you're on. That's fake, okay? And I thought I need to express that because, people want to pour out all kinds of silliness. I don't do silly games, okay? Now, if you turn your attention to the left side of the screen, you see there's the Taurus. Taurus is representative of Taurus the bull. That's why you see the bull up there. And the other symbol is the symbol of Taurus, okay? And below that are the far left is the major arcana called the Hierophant. That is in the card. It represents Taurus, okay? And the Queen and King of Pentacles are the minor arcana in the deck, okay? Now, we talked about all the energies already. All you need to do is go back to the other slide where we talked about the energies that represents this King and Queen of Pentacles and the Hierophant. This is in the tarot deck. This is Taurus the Bull's energy that is derived from the ruler of the house, which is Venus. And the top of there, you see on the top of Venus, that's the sign, the symbol. You see, before we had all of these symbols, before we had all of these, advanced communication, okay, there's somebody was very, very artistic. As you can see, this is a lot of art here that you're looking at. I, for one, I love to have me some, graphics or something I can look at, okay? Show and tell. Anytime I have that, I'm good. I'm loving it. Don't give me I would love a book with some pictures in it, really. But see, this is all about, in so many ways, the book of life. It's all about the journey that you're being on, okay, in life, really. And these are, before you had these cards, there was the symbols and everything. But now, just like you have advanced communication, advanced technology, these cards came along, just putting this in a way that you can visualize. Visualization. You need to learn how to visualize, okay? That helps you that helps you flow with the spirit, okay? This is about the energy that Venus. I already talked about, I'm not going to talk about on this slide because I want to also introduce you to the other side. On the right side here, we have Libra. On the top there, these are all the symbols that represents the sign Libra, okay? And both Libra and Taurus are earth signs. That's why I put this on here together. Libra and Taurus are earth signs. Okay, and then we have the Justice card. Do I need to explain it? I don't think so, because you see this symbol represents Justice card in here. And the King and Queen of Swords here is also a part there. And we talked about the energy, if you want to go back and get the energy there. But see, the earth, you see, everything, when you look at the natal chart, or you look at how everything is positioned in the heavens, in the heavenly bodies or the celestials, things go in cycle. It goes in cycles. Okay? Cycle. If something is in a cycle, it goes in a circle. It's cyclic. I mean, if you watch the big video that I was telling you about, back in the antiquity, the calendar was, and that was included into the calendar pretty much. The cycles and the moon and all these things were all, considered. and on the chart, pretty much that was the clock. Okay, so the clock of your life, right? All right. So, and also just to before I move on, I wanted to just say once again, it's Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius are King and Queen of Swords out of the deck. Okay, and they are the swords, which represent justice, the word, pretty much. All right, and they like and when you go back and look at the energies, it talks about communication. This, you know, um, so it's Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, and I only put the Libra up here and the Queen of Swords, and just because I'm just only doing 3 examples, but the main focus here is really these planets, because the planet is ruler of the house on both of these signs. Okay, so next I have here the minor arcana, which is on the right hand side. And this reflects the trials and tribulations that we experience on a daily basis in life, right? And so when you were born, spirit, this here on the left, first I'm going to talk about on the left. On the left, when you were born, the Most High gave you certain gifts. You were born with certain gifts. You were endowed with certain gifts. If you were a water sign, you were endowed with that cup. You see how it looks like it's being given out of the hand of the skylight, out of the cloud? Well, all the gifts that you are endowed with, we already read about it. Those are the energies and experience in life sometimes you may have. That is for the water sign, which is Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Okay? The second one here, where you see the star, is called the pinnacle. You are given a pinnacle. Just like Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, got a cup. You Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus was given pinnacles. The energy that we talked about involves that energy. We already talked about it. Go back and look at the other slide where it talks about what it's all about to be in this particular energy: Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. Okay. And the next one here, we have the sword. You see the sword there? The sword is, if you are a Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, which we were just talking about, you have been given the gift of communication, because the sword has to do with the word. Okay. And you can go back and read the energy there. And these signs are all air signs. See, the air is like the wind, like I said, like the spirit of God. So you've been given the gift. This is the gift you've been given when you start on your journey. Now, the next one here, we have the wands. The wands, that wand, it represents Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. They have been given a wand because Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius in the minor arcana represent the king and queen of wands. But mind you, we also have other representations out of the deck. But the wands, and then so on the right, it's a similar same thing. When you're in the deck, that's what you'll see, these wands. Sometimes there'll be more than one wand or whatever. Swords, 10 of swords, or whatever the case is. And then the cup, and also the pinnacle. Now, when we talked about, just for example, just to remind you, like the pinnacle, Venus. The pinnacle represents Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Venus energy has to do with self-worth and value. So that's why they've been given a gift that diamond. So the diamond at the bottom. So these are like regular card decks and suits are down at the bottom. But if you didn't know, the diamond would represent the pentacles. It's like a pentacle. It's like something of, like a earthly value or something. And then the heart represents the cup. And that is Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer energy. Also, in the card deck, regular card decks, I need to remind you, please do not go gambling. But if you do, please put some money in the pot. If you do go gambling. But in the end of the day, the sword. You see how that is? That spade right there. You see that point? Represents the sword. The spade is the sword, which is, again, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. And that club represents, although that's a wand, that's also a club, like a club, something that you could, club somebody with. But yes, that represents the wand, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. So Leo, Aries, Sagittarius is the wands. The spade is Libra, Gemini, Aquarius is a spade. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer is the heart, the hearts, and the cup. Pentacle is Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Is the cup and the diamond. They both those are equal. Okay, so I thought I'd just go through that. And so now we'll go on and move on. Okay, so here we have the planet Mars. We already talked about the energy involving Mars and everything, right? And the sign is Aries. It's Aries, and that's the symbol underneath there. Anytime you see the symbol, and the symbol on the right, the orange symbol represents the symbol of Mars. And so the minor arcana I have up here is the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. Okay, that is representing not only just Aries, but Leo and Sagittarius. But the tower represents Aries. You see, Aries, we talked about the energy. If you just think about it, when you see the tower, that's something like, okay, that's something that you might have to fight through. You see what I mean? When you see a tower moment in a deck, that's something perhaps you have to fight through. Okay? Because if something is warring or whatever the case is, you have to use your determination to get through. Okay, so and then the Emperor also is the major arcana that represents Aries. So the two arcana at the bottom are representative of Aries energy, okay, which is Mars, of Mars. Aries is of Mars, the energy. We talked all about that, how, battle and how you soldier through things and so forth, because you'll be able to get out, because if you have a tower, you'll be the one to get out of it. And like I said, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius is the Queen, King, and King of Wands. Moving right along. So a Saturn. Okay, Saturn is Saturn. So when you see Saturn, that is representative of Capricorn. That's the ruler of Capricorn, the house. And on the left, we have the major arcana, which is representative of the devil. And I always like to say, when you see that card, the devil card, that means that the energy of Saturn is Chronos. That's Father Time, the energetic training wheel in place, not to torture, but to teach. So, you know, when you think about it, a lot of the trials and tribulations that go through in life, you know, you have some things that, you know, that you may seem adversarial and all that, but it's meant to, you know, teach you. It's meant to bring out the best, you know, bring out, because Saturn is here to have, you know, you have restrictions, right? Traditions, authority figures, and governments, and all kinds of stuff. Experiences are oppression, self-discipline. Here you need to call on courage and commitment to healing, because, you know, and where does that start? That starts by shining the light within. You have to start by shining light, because you're on a journey. You got to realize you're on a journey of life. Okay? And God has given you gifts, because, you know, you don't have to really um search far, you know, because if you just realize what gifts that God gave you, you can look there first to see. Okay, because there's a lot of people, children are born and get ready to go to school or whatever the case is, they don't even know what they want to do. And the last thing you want to do is something that you're really not good at. But, you know, God will let you know what are some things that you know, because if you don't really know, you need to have some type of navigation to guide you through, help guide you through, at least get the basic foundation of what. And this is all, if you you know, all these symbolism and so forth, this all in the Bible, if you didn't know. Now, and it's a good place to look when you do have a manuscript, you know, because do you think that the Most High made everything just like if somebody made a car, if they manufactured a car, do you think they have a book in there, a manual to go in there to tell you how to go through? Well, little did you know, maybe perhaps you didn't know, there's a manuscript to help point you the way. You've been given gifts when you are born, because you are born under the energy of these planets. And so on the right you have, I just got a picture of a Capricorn, which is representative of the goat. You see, a lot of people don't really know the real meaning of all these things. They look at the goat, they say, oh, the goat is just, yeah, it's the devil, but it's not always there the way how it's being painted to you. You know, you see, a lot of things have been really kind of deceptive. Now, Capricorn, if you look at the bottom here, that's the symbol. The symbol of Capricorn is down at the bottom. And these symbols and things like this been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, okay? And this is the date of the person that's born on Capricorn. And we already talked about Saturn, you know, it's all about self-discipline. And another thing is that we already talked about how Capricorn is also a part of, see, Capricorn is an earth sign. So they're also a part of the Pentacles. They have the King and Queen of Pentacles in the deck as well. Along, but the Devil card is one of the major arcanas, because it's based on Capricorn, which is the sign of Saturn. And the real sign of Saturn is not, you know, as devilish as you think it is, but it regards to time. It's in regards to self-discipline, restrictions and so forth, and traditions and different things like that. But it's there in order to, what it said not to torture but to teach, because a lot of times we need lessons, don't we? We need lessons. If it hadn't been for some of the lessons, how were you going to learn? But you need to know that the Most High gave you gifts. And yes, and there's some specific gifts that you were born on a certain planet energy that you should actually really want to know about. And I'm telling you. And this is Jupiter, okay, which is, put a comment below if you know what sign represents Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. This is the symbol. Okay, so Neptune. Keep in mind now that the planets rules the house. The planet rules the house, and it carries certain energy, which affects the sign. Okay, the sign, which is, the sign. The sign, for example, for Neptune is Pisces. Pisces is the sign that's in this particular house here. Neptune is a doorway to a higher dimension. Veils lift between man and spirit. Reveals you yearning to merge with something greater than yourself, and where you surrender into oneness. Okay, so Pisces again. This is the symbol. You have the Triton symbol, pretty much. And also, Pisces is a water sign. Okay. And also, some of the other energy for Neptune is empathy, surrender, art, music, inspiration, illusion, smoke and mirrors. Okay, and keep also in mind that with every sign, they also have a reversal, especially when you're looking at the tarot, or you have, say for example, a good side, like the the duality type of idea or concept with yin and yang and so forth. So the experience is oneness, transcendence, because we have to do also with intuition, dreams, okay, escapism, illness, spiritual lessons, deeper connection with the divine. Honor your dreams. Let images and meaning percolate. So the whole idea with when you're getting say for instance, trying to get foresight and learn and trying to get a better understanding about the energies and everything. when depending upon the position of the planet, say for example, coming up, I keep putting kind of emphasis on the conjunction. That is a great conjunction. Why? Because it hasn't happened in 100 and almost 70 years. Anytime you have a conjunction like that, sometimes what one would do, they would go back and look at the history and see what happened during that time to kind of figure out perhaps what type of energy this type of setup, or this, in this case, a conjunction is basically a union between the planets. The planets are, they're aligned in a union type of way. Versus, there are other positions like we talked about, opposition or eclipse, or a retrograde, when a planet retrogrades, sextiles or trine, and different. There's energy associated with the alignment and the positions of the planets, which is very important, because if that's your sign, then whatever that planet is doing, guess what? It's going to tell you something about the energy. It's going to tell you about the sign is going to be a sign. Okay, a sign, and sun, moon, and stars. This is what the scripture says. There are going to be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. And there's always signs in the sun, moon, and stars every day. There, in a matter of fact, conjunctions take place quite often. The moon goes around the sun. Guess how long? For an entire month or what have you, from the first of the month to the end of the month or whatever. Usually the cycle is usually 28 days. It's the cycle of the moon. Okay. And you just gotta get more used to what how these things are, because there's always a sign somewhere telling you something about what is going to be the energy during this time. Right place, right time. So I want to just kind of put a little emphasis on that, and let you know that this is not just some all willy nilly kind of thing. Okay. So, and this is Uranus, and this is Uranus' symbol, which is in the house of Aquarius, and Pluto. And so, Pluto, you see, like I said, some of them have two different symbols. This is, I think that this symbol on the left is a newer symbol, and the one on the right is like a, I think it's an older type of symbol for Pluto. But this is somewhat how it looks. But like I said, you will see variations in different aspects and different aims or vantage points. Will look, it can look totally different than that one. And this is Chiron. And so another thing I wanted to say also is that Chiron is one, you didn't hear us really talk about Chiron, right? Not in this video, but we did go over in the previous video. But it's not like one of the, it's not any of those houses. You see, this is what I was trying to say before, is that sometimes there are other planets that you probably not even heard of, right? Planet X, something like that. You may realize, and then Vestas, because I was hearing Vesta a lot in the webinar that I attended just previously this week, or last week. Oh yeah, it was this week, I think it was. But yeah, Vesta, and this is Chiron. And so who knows what other planets that there may be out there, right? So, having said that, I think that will be the last slide right there. But so please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the video. And, just continue to expand your mind, elevate your consciousness, and live your best life. Use whatever tools or whatever it is that you can use to be more efficient or be more effective. You don't have to rely on somebody else's information to, whenever, you can get your, you can, when you start meditating and when you start setting an intention to, be at peace with yourself and to, expand your mind, there's nothing that you won't be able to achieve or know about. Okay, because you can know for yourself. You don't have to always rely on. See, it's good to have other people though, because like I said, you need to be concerned about everyone, because we all supposed to be united together. This is what these unions are about. These conjunctions are about. The unions are about. Even for example, knowing, having your soulmate or whatever they want to call it, soulmates or twin flames or what have you. The one thing you want to do is you want when you think about connecting with someone, you want to know what kind of elements you're operating in, because guess what? That's going to give you more of an advantage for your relationship to be more successful. Because if you get with somebody who, because for example, I'm not saying that your relationship cannot make it with anybody, but say for example, if your son was in, let me just say Leo, right? And then somebody you've been dating or what have you, and his son is in Pisces or Scorpio, whatever, because the sun in Leo is a fire sign, right? Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer is water. Element is water. generally water and fire don't really mix. Not saying that it will not, because when you start elevating your consciousness, you're going to be able to learn how to work with any kind of energies, because because when you're all connected, you learn how to work with different energies. It's going to be, but generally, you got to, just to go by that basis, it will help you to be more complementary. You basically, you kind of understand each other more better. But so this is a advantage for you, and generally you're attracted to these people who are in the same operating in the same element you are. So this is why this is important, because it's not about just the sign. It's about the planets, and it really resonates with the fact that the planets and everything that's happening, the sun, the moon, and the stars, guess what? Has some connection to you. And you don't have to believe it. It's not going to stop what the planets are doing. But either you're going to deny that there are no planets up there, or you're going to. I mean, I've even tested this, and you know by the vibrations and energy. Most people who say, for example, if that person is not, there's some people are more, you just watch. Some people are more attracted to certain individuals than they are with others. And a lot of time it has to do with the chemistry, whether they're operating in the element of water, or they're operating in the element of fire, earth, or and it's just a total different energy. So I want to just kind of, cap off this video just to say that, this is why a lot of this is important, not only just for individuals, but for the universe. Okay? And as we just saw, how all these planets, are, affect this energy. It affects our energy, especially for right now. Say, for example, like if your sign is Pisces, and we're right now, where's the sun? The sun is in Pisces right now. So depending upon which house you're in, and where these things align, whether it's forming, a trine, a square, or what, depends on all these types of alignments. This will be a good time for you. This will be a greater opportunity for you to do certain things, or what have you. As we were just describing previously in the video, how certain alignments are going to be very significant for you to take action, to move, to do, and to how to move and to do and better your life. Making decisions and what have you, based on right now what the energy is doing in the heavens. And so we all can take a lesson, in this astrology, and how to utilize this tool, because it's just so much us. Yeah, it's so much us. And see, like I said before, again, tarot is embedded in astrology. It's not just some cards that you shuffling around. No, it's dealing with the energy of the planet in a lot of ways. Depends upon what the energies are all about, and what it's about. But as you can see here, we really don't need no cards. We just need to go straight. Go if you want to learn how to, when you need to plant seeds and everything, just go get your almanac. It's already set up. These are things that people have been doing for thousands and thousands of years. to know when the best time to plant seeds. It has a lot to do the position of the moon, this, that, and the phases, the moon phase, and different things. We need it, and so when you learn all of this, you know how to take the opportunity to do things, you know, a certain way, where to get the best outcome. Right time, right place, and the right opportunity. So, having said that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always, I appreciate and love each and every one of you.